Good morning, my name is Leslie Williams and I am in San Diego. As you can see, today's date is October 24th, 2013, and what I'm getting ready to do is turn the stopwatch on so I can gauge the time of this video, because once I turn the video camera around to start talking so you can see me, I can't see the time counter on the actual video camera. Alright, so now I gotta position this so you can see me pretty good. And just bear with me 1 second. There we go. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fly right into the purpose of the reason why I'm making this particular video. And first what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some general statements that pretty accurately describe the subject matter of this particular video. And then I'm going to transfer some audio files over to literally prove to you that what I describe in this video is occurring around me. But what I want, some very pertinent facts concerning what I'm talking about in this video, in reference to the subject matter, is for you to listen closely to everything I say and then investigate it. And also, and here's one of the great things about this video. Not too long ago, a bunch of videos were compiled in a list. And that list is going to be put in the description of this YouTube video. That's right. And that list of videos is going to be YouTube titles, okay, that you can easily, and with doesn't take any time at all, to just copy and paste the titles and or the URL address to them. And you're going to be able to then view each video having the same exact identical to a T harassment on each video at multiple different places. And some of these places that the identical harassment the harassment that's happened is identical to a literal T. And the harassment is peculiar harassment. That is open, clear. If you pay attention to the instructions concerning what the harassment is, basically I'm just going to go ahead and briefly state it. As a result of me being a target, victim, and activist concerning the criminal expeditions of what is known as organized stalking, which can also be termed as gang stalking, targeted individuals experience multiple different methods and tactics from the perpetrators who are managing the harassment and the individuals they use for it. Okay? And basically what they do, one of the main methods is called sensitization. Sensitization means where they will classically condition a target to be sensitive to either a word, phrase, physical gesture, and even specific sounds, like specific ways of coughing, clearing your throat. I didn't develop their methods. What I'm doing is I'm explaining them so you can research them. Now, as a result of classically conditioning a target to be sensitive to these words, in which how they do it, and phrases and physical gestures and sounds, is by the extreme amount of repetition concerning how the target is represented with the thing that they sensitize them to. The words, phrase, physical gesture, or sounds. In other words, say if you went to 6 different places in one day, because like say it's your shopping day, and in each place you went to, you started noticing people getting around you every place you went, and I'm talking about every place inside of every place you went. Like say if you went to Walmart, you know you're going to be going in different aisles, maybe even the McDonald's, if they got a McDonald's restaurant inside of Walmart's. Say if you start noticing individuals, separate, different individuals, getting around you and repeating the following, in the following way: gang stalk, gang stalker, oh my god, gang stalker, gang stalker, gang stalker, oh my god, gang stalker, gang stalk, oh my god, gang stalk, oh my god, weird, crazy, gang stalk. In that way, using different people to say each word. In other words, one guy will say gang stalk, and as soon as that's said, or not like within seconds after that's said, an oh my god will say it. And that's done to make sure that the targeted individual knows that these two separate words, okay, are being done deliberately and intentionally for the target to hear together, closely associated. Okay? And what they'll even do is get 2 separate individuals, one on one side of the target, and like in one aisle, targets in one aisle. They'll have an individual get in the other aisle, or at the end of the same aisle the target's in, and say gang stalker, and then they'll put another person in the aisle over, and that person will say oh my god right after it or right before it. And that's done to keep the target's mental attention not only on what's being heard, but having them constantly look back and forth to where it's being set at. Now, I'm not talking about it just being said a couple times. I'm talking about it being said constantly and repetitively, non-stop. Everywhere a person goes. Everywhere they go. Okay? I'm feeding my squirrel right now. Hang on a second. But I'm definitely going to stay I'm not going to get distracted in this video feeding my squirrels and my birds. But the point I'm trying to make is that this is one of the sensitization methods of organized stalking, gang stalking expeditions. It's basically a clever way to make you feel stalked because of the high amount of frequency and the representation of how often you hear it. And the physical gestures is made for that they sensitize you to doing specific things with their arms, hands, you know, stroking their hairbacks in certain ways. They'll sensitize you to 4 or 5 different physical gestures and do each one right back to back as they're doing it. Okay? And first they'll walk by you and say gang stalker to get your attention auditorily. You look in that direction and then they gaslight you with the physical gestures. That's right. It's called gaslighting. Now, I'm going to play you some audio files that are literally going to show it, and then the YouTube videos that are in the description of this YouTube video. Okay, the YouTube titles and mostly the URL address will be included as well with the title. And the ones where the URL address is not included with the title, all you gotta do is copy and paste the YouTube title in the YouTube feature, hit enter, bring it up, click on it, and listen for what I just stated. Because you will literally hear this method happening around me constantly and repetitively in locations. And I'm just going to stop for a second. What's happening towards me is happening towards me every single day, everywhere I go, non-stop, repetitively, and continuously, everywhere I go. Everywhere I go. Now, you're going to see in these YouTube videos 0.001% of the videos that I have. And right now I have at least, it's probably approaching by now, 800 separate audio files of this occurring around me openly everywhere I go for the last year and a half. Everywhere I go. Okay? In this way. Now the only way that they can stage and place this crafted harassment around me for me to experience is that they got to know where I'm at and where I'm, and in other words, if I leave here and go to UCSD and it's done towards me on the bus, and every building and bus stop I go to on UCSD campus, that means I'm being stalked. Because they got to know where I'm at and who I am to do it. To place these dummies that are being duped to do this, okay, around me for me to experience through my senses. Hearing it and seeing it. So, this in turn can prove to anybody, and anybody that's got the ability to engage in common sense, deductive or inductive reasoning, analytical processing, okay, has the ability to stop that. Sorry, my squirrels are competing for my birds' food. Get out of here. Anyways, I gotta stay focused on this. It's just that this morning I ran low on bread, and so the squirrels, they come and they eat the birds' food, and then I ain't got nothing left to feed the birds. But anyways, so they're also doing it at this hiking area that I'm at. Now, I'm just going to make a brief statement concerning this hiking area. The only reason why I'm hiking in San Diego County, California, is because if you've never heard of this crime before, or if you've taken the time to investigate this crime, you will discover in your first day of research, okay, or you've already discovered it, that creating homelessness a target is achieved as a result of, but not limited to, staged events at apartment buildings, getting landlords and property owners on board, using postal employees on board to steal and or delay the target's rent. Right now in my backpack, I just printed out a blog 3 days ago at the law library concerning a Sylvia L. Morales, a fellow organized stalking, gang stalking target here in San Diego that I've never personally met, on her blogs that are a little bit hard to find because her webpage is a little bit funny. I think there's a Weebly service that you can actually go and see the blogs. There's a Weebly feature if you type her in on her blog that you got to click on in order to be able to see the blogs come up, because then you can click on the blogs in the Weebly feature, and then you'll be able to see the text of her blogs. I don't know why her website is set up the way it's set up. But anyways, she's got blogs on there stating that they're about ready to create homelessness of me as a result of stealing my check. It's exactly what they did to me. To a T, to an identical T. Now, you can Google this and you will discover in your first day of research of gang stalking that creating homelessness of a target is one of their main methods that they utilize against the target, by getting the aforementioned individuals to participate in the creation of same. Now, basically what they're doing along all my routes is the same thing they're doing here. They literally set up some punks, neighborhood bums, and a skank. The skank is a woman, and then there's at least 2 guys. And they've literally set them up to hike out 200 feet away, and they did that within 2 weeks of me moving here. That's right. And they're engaging in the same exact identical harassment that I experienced along my route. They're just doing it more from a distance, so it's harder for me to catch it on audio file. My tape recorder, which is even recording right now. Now, in this audio file, what I'm going to do, in this video file, what I'm going to do is I'm going to literally transfer over to you some audio files that literally show you that what I'm telling you is the truth. Make sure, please, if you have the time, to look in the description of this YouTube video, because when you copy and paste those YouTube titles and or URL address of the YouTube videos that are in the description of this YouTube video, you'll literally be able to see the same exact identical harassment that I just mentioned is happening in locations around me everywhere I go, and some of these locations are 50 miles away from each other, including even using business employees, business management, like Jack in the Box over at Rosecrans and Emmets Boulevard. The business community is brought on board through, but not limited to, what is known as the community notification and or offenders notification. I shouldn't be on either for any reason at all. I'm not involved in any illegal or criminal activity whatsoever. I'm not a threat to myself or others. And let's see, what is another excuse that they usually use to put somebody illegally on these things? I'm not a threat to myself or others. I'm not mentally ill, and I know how to take care of myself. Anyways, but these are the kind of labels they try to put on targets to discredit the truth the target's telling. I literally had to call the police on them on the 15th of this month. Not even 8 days ago. 8 days ago. Literally. And when the police arrived on the scene, I told them what I was experiencing, and I offered to show them evidence. You know what they did? They said, well, I tell you what, why don't we just call a psychologist out here? Because discrediting the mental stability of a targeted individual is how they discredit the target in order to protect the business they're illegally using. Now, the San Diego police have already been caught engaging in the same exact identical harassment inside of the San Diego Police Department headquarters. In fact, yesterday, I saw that somebody posted one of my videos, and their web address is Cops Caught on Camera. Just go to YouTube and type in Learning Disabled Woman catches harassment at SDPD HDQ, which is San Diego Police Department headquarters. Cops Caught on Camera. If I remember to, because I just found it yesterday and I didn't put that on the list that I made. And an individual that has got a bunch of the entire website is dedicated to criminality that cops are involved in. 3 days ago, I printed out a blog from it was either written by Jessica Mills or on behalf of Jessica Mills, and she's a reporter for I think it's KTPS or KPTS news station in Minnesota. You would not believe the amount of women that are being gang stalked by police agencies in Minnesota. I suggest you go to and Google her and cross-reference her to gang stalking. I just printed it out. And yesterday and the day before, I just made some videos concerning that blog, because some of the statements that are written in that blog talk about individuals getting around individuals that either typed the blog or made comments in the blog, literally typed about how individuals are getting around them and repeating phrases constantly that have the summation of negative meanings. Gang stalk. Gang stalk. Stalk has a negative meaning to it, and so does gang. I'm in San Diego, California. My name is Leslie Williams. Make sure you look in the description of this YouTube video, and all of those videos that you're going to see is not even 0.001% of the evidence that I got, which is undisputable. It's literally black and white, undisputable. Now, the criminal assholes, the criminal skanks that they set up 200 feet away, they literally go to the length of literally not only doing it from their hiking area, but there's a little pathway from their hiking area, that like a ledge that they can walk on from their hiking area, that if they walk on it, it's a little, and then get to the end of it, it's a ledge, because there's on the outside of this tent, I'm on even ground. And then I'd say about 15-20 feet away, there's a little creekway for the rainwater. When it accumulates on the street, it goes down through a little drain, and since I'm off a hill, it comes down the hill and then goes into this little water area. They're on the other side of the water area, about 200 feet away, and then where they got their stuff set up at, there's also a little pathway that they can walk on, so they can actually get closer to me on the other side of the waterway. And they're literally doing that at night just so I hear them more. Now, they know I listen to a couple radio shows at night at a very low volume, so it's harder for me to catch it on audio file, and they're basically competing for my attention. Basically, like if you're on a phone, whether it be a landline or a cell phone, and you're trying to listen to what somebody's telling you when you're talking on the phone, and then somebody's standing very close by you talking loud, you can't literally hear the quality of what somebody's talking to you on the phone because somebody's talking loud right in your environment. That's basically what they're doing, is competing for your attention, so you can't even enjoy your peacetime here where you live at. And they do the same things towards targeted individuals in apartment buildings. They'll get outside of target's apartment windows and doors and do this tactic as well. It's called gaslighting. Now, I've already given you enough instructions for what you to do in reference to you literally being able to see that everything that I've told you in this video can be reviewed just by what's in the description of this YouTube video and by what I'm going to transfer over to you even in this YouTube video. Now, on the 18th of October, which was about 5 or 6 days ago, I caught this tactic again being utilized around me on a fever scale inside of the Club Med restaurant at UCSD and over at the Price Center at UCSD on the same day once I left Club Med. It's just a little cafe. Club Med is a cafe. The Price Center is a building where individuals can go to study, use computers, use their own laptops, and then they got a bunch of different restaurants in there. It's called the food court as well. Rachel O visited this food court building. She's another targeted individual, and I believe she came from New York to California. She stopped off at UCSD in San Diego, went inside the food court, and then caught bus route 41, which is a very close walking distance from the food court. She wrote a blog stating that she was being gang stalked as well inside of the food court and on the bus route 41 once she left it. And bus route 41 pulls up literally on UCSD campus, right outside the food court. Okay, so I'm not the only one that is exposing UCSD. You could probably go just type in Rachel O or Rachel O'Brien and UCSD gang stalking or California gang stalking, and you'll eventually find her blog. I gotta print it out and put it away somewhere. And they did that to her around December 20th, 2012. Alright, so getting back to the meat and potatoes of this video, what this video is going to do is in part is describe to you gaslighting. When I first started coming across the word gaslighting, is a term that's just a coined phrase that describes the harassment of gang stalking in reference to the psychological operations that's basically connected to the harassment. Now, when you hear, just stay with me, okay? Because if you do, you'll understand what I mean. In reference to the term gaslighting being used, when I first started really paying attention to that because of noticing it as a result of reading other targeted individuals' blogs concerning them being gang stalked and researching the methods and tactics of these expeditions, I obviously started noticing it on the internet. It's called gaslighting. You can Google it and YouTube it and cross-reference it to either organized stalking or gang stalking, and you'll be able to research what it is. Now, when I started doing that, the very first initial things that I saw concerning gaslighting was a pictorial representation on a YouTube video that showed a person's head here and then a gas can that said gasoline on it, okay, here. And then the person's head had a light bulb put in it. It was just a picture of a person's head with a light bulb inside the head, and the light was going off in the head. Because basically what gaslighting means is that they fuel gas and ignite light, an emotional or mental response based on the harassment. Gas lighting, where they're fueling and igniting, lighting a mental or an emotional response based on the harassment that the targeted individual experiences by the individuals that are used by the perpetrators who are managing these expeditions of harassment. So it's always been anchored in my mind that it basically meant a mental and neural response. But what it actually is that it is that. But what it actually is for you to be able to see the lengths that the skanks go to, that they use, including the idiots they set up 200 feet away, is that a great way to see the lengths that these freaks go to is to go to the movie Gaslight with Ingrid Bergman. Now, what is that all about? A few minutes ago, I stated that these individuals will even go as far, because I talked about how you're gang stalked to even your apartment complex. Hang on. I mentioned about how you're even gang stalked to your apartment complex. These individuals will either, because they got, the ones who are managing this have power positions in the community. Hang on a second. Okay, now, I just looked at my video camera, and the battery power bar is red, which means that this video is going to shut itself off any minute now. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to make another video in order for you to be able to see the audio evidence from my tape recorder of it happening at UCSD for a little bit. It happened all day yesterday at UCSD again, but I'm only going to play you a little bit of an audio file of that. And then I'm going to play you a few minutes of what happened on the 18th. Okay? And so that's going to have to be in the next video, because this video is going to shut itself off any minute now. And in fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and start that video now. And that way I can elaborate more on what gaslighting is and how you can use the movie Gaslight with Ingrid Bergman to literally see the lengths that these freaks will go to psychologically undermine a target, to harass them using psychological tactics. Now, again, I didn't develop their methods. I'm only exposing what they do. And so when you hear what I gotta say, and then you watch the movie, and then you research what I'm talking about, and then you hear the audio file, you'll see that every single thing I'm telling you is the literal truth to an identical T in reference to my descriptions. Literally. I mean, it's just almost astronomical. I was listening to him last night, and I thought to myself, these people are some desperate idiots for them to do this stuff. I mean, what kind of an idiot puts people at my hiking area to repeat words that I'm hearing also along my routes, because they want you to feel abused in the same way and harassed in the same way. I mean, how desperate can you be to put some neighborhood bums over here to do what I'm experiencing along my routes as well? That's some desperate shit. Okay? And they also get people on the sidewalk to ride their bikes by and do the same thing. And I've already caught that on audio file too. So look in the description of this YouTube video. The video that this is going to be a continuation of is going to be the first video in the description of this YouTube video. And then the list of videos is going to be below it. Follow the instructions, and you'll be able to understand what's in each video. And you'll literally be able to see that this is happening everywhere I go, and in locations that are 40, 50, 70 miles apart. They got to be able to know where I'm at to do it, and that proves the stalking of gang stalking harassment. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.